All right, so welcome to the exchange. So, first and foremost, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just here to give you my opinion on what I see in the stock markets. Looking to the left to see what has happened, then looking to the right to see what may happen. Do your own due diligence. Make sure you invest money in things you know about. If you don't know, invest in yourself and learn. That's the best way you can make money out here and have some security in these markets. So, let's look at what happens to stock markets so we can get a better idea and some security in exchange. Welcome to the Exchange Show.
All right, welcome back. So we're going to start with Sony. You may not be thinking about it because no, I'm not thinking about it, but it has a very nice double top formed here. Uh, Now, some things you may not remember or even heard of with Sony is back here on this date in October 24. Uh, they did a share buyback. I didn't know that. So they did a 5-to-1 share buyback. So if you had shares in Sony, they bought back a lot of it. And that kind of pushed this stock up. Now, another catalyst that happened was the last earnings. So previous earnings for Sony, they did very well. They surprised everybody with like a 34% beat on their earnings. But also the revenue was kind of low. So it seems like Sony may be gearing up to do something big in the future. But I'm looking at it right now because maybe I'm looking at a chance to short the market. If you notice, there are a lot of gaps going through the Sony chart. So there's gaps everywhere to the upside, to the downside. I mean, it's just full of gaps. The reason I'm looking at it for a short is because I see divergence. So first and foremost, I have, let's just go from the high there to the high there. That's going up, right? Well, down here to down here is going down. So this is divergence. Personally, I see it. I'm looking for a great entry. This looks like this could have provided me a great entry to the downside in the daily time frame. And my price target would most likely be here at the inner trend line. I have an outer trend line as well. I could draw another one, but it already broke that. So I'm interested in this one. My target could also be the earnings area here, but I think I'm going to go for about right there at 21, maybe here at 21 even. But this would be optimal for me, about 20 something dollars. Currently it's at 22.57. Let's see how it opens on Monday. I want to see if this continues. There's strong selling pressure here as well. So let's see in the daily. All right, first place would be 20 cent down. Then after that, 21.85. Then after that, 21.23. Then it's going from broke. So essentially about $20.46. If it goes through everything, I look for the 200-day moving average, which is here, my blue dotted line. That's $18.60. Now, I'm not saying it's going to go and do all these things, but that's what I'm looking forward to do. I have an expectation. Let's see if it meets. I'm currently in the 4 hour now. In the 4 hour, you already see it broke down. It's already giving me a sell signal. 200-day moving average in the 4 hours at $21.13. If it comes down to here, maybe $20. So that's a $3 fall or $2.60 fall. Let's see what the options contracts are for that. But I'm doing my own due diligence. I'm not. You got to do your own. You got to check it out. So here we also have another one. This is called Applied Digital Corporation, and they're working with data centers and blockchain. Now, this one, I would like you to do your own due diligence. If you don't know how to do due diligence, guess what? There's a video for that on how to do it. It's on our channels and a playlist, the beginner playlist. Check it out. You might see something that you may not know. And if you're like, I really want to invest, but I don't know how, check out the book on the website. There's a book there for you, just for you. And no, it's not long, but it is very informative. There's 1,000 ways to invest, and I introduce you to a couple of them. So currently, we got gaps to the upside, we got gaps to the downside, and this one is looking bullish at the moment. But if it breaks this small trend line on the daily, guess what? That means we're going to have a breakdown. And I don't like this new thing they're doing with TradingView. Unless you click off of the thing, it's just continually doing whatever you clicked on the first time. But I'm getting used to it. Now, with the algo, let's see what it says. I got a buy signal, but I'm in a lot of chop as well. So I'm gonna go down to a smaller time frame. I like doing the 4 hour for options. I'm currently in a buy. Now, one thing I will say, in the daily that I did like, and it did show some support. So the daily time frame, I want to go back to that in a second, but you notice this trend line. If it breaks this trend line, I'm still gonna get in for a sell. And the daily, if you notice, we are bouncing off of the 200-day moving average. That's a good sign. So if it stays bullish, I'm very happy. I may play this to the upside to get out around the earnings area here. So I got to see how much the prices on options are for that as well. But hey, remember, do your own due diligence. So we're going to cover with or end this up with two things that you may already invest in. So let's start with Apple. Everybody loves Apple. They're good for your health too. Now, I wrote this probably last week or maybe a couple weeks ago. I don't know anymore. But Apple may have a buy at 236, but confirmation will come after we break that 248. So we got to here right at 247. And this is the day before there. So that was the 30th, January 30th. We got right before there. As soon as we got there, price rejected. So we did not get a buy signal that was valid. We got a push up and then a push back. All right, so here we came up, we broke the inner trend line here, broke the outer trend line, came back up, tested that outer trend line, came back down. I'm looking for Apple to get to probably 221, maybe 215, 216 on the way down. Okay, so if Apple's going down, you already know the stock market's probably going to continuously go down at this point because it's a big share of the S&P 500. Also, you need to look what else has big shares in the S&P 500. So here's another one that we're going to talk about that has a big share of the S&P 500, which is Amazon. Okay, you use it. Everybody uses Amazon. So we have gaps to the top and gaps to the bottom. All right, currently and the daily, we just got a sell signal. I'm looking for it. If this is the thing, if it continues to sell off to go down to 222, it may pop up, close this gap, and then continue down. But if you notice, I said here, Amazon has to break this with strong volume. Now, the strongest volume we got right now is a sell off. So we had earnings. Earnings were good for Amazon. All right. But it's people bought it, ran it up, and then when the earnings came out, they said, you know what, I'm taking profit. So here was our earnings, and it's really 186. This is our last earnings before this week. That's lining up exactly with a level of support. So I'll put my level of support and resistance. If you see this purple line, it's usually done in the weekly. Uh, so they have a lot of strength at these levels. If it comes down, if Amazon comes down, and I mean, if it comes down hard, I would look for it to go to this 200 or earnings. If it comes down very hard, if not, it may just come down, fill this gap around 214. All right. So Amazon and Apple, look, they could be going to the downside for a while. Let's see what this one says in the 4 hour. In the 4 hour, it's already bounced off of the 200. So you know if it breaks this area right here, 225, it's probably going to come down and fill this gap. Okay. I'm looking for some puts this week. May make money going to the downside, not the upside. So if you are interested, if you like the video, if you like the free analysis, give me a like, give it a share. Tell me what's going on. Put something in the comment. I'd love to hear from you guys. So I'll see you next week on The Exchange.